We're revisiting a project to not only show you what it looks like when it's done, because we shot it during the course of it. Check back on one of our videos called Commercial Landscape Design, Drought Tolerant Landscaping. It not only will show you progress, but we're going to apply it to residential design, and there's lots of applications here if you're looking for ways to put in landscaping and do gardening that doesn't require a lot of work, that has a certain amount of self-sustainability in it. It's easy to care for. That's what we're going to talk about today. If you like the idea of following me around every day as we do our work and investigate issues with plants and landscaping and concrete and paving and grading and drainage and irrigation and lighting and everything that comes up in doing commercial and residential landscaping, then subscribe to our channel. We show you our day-to-day operations here and all of our projects that we're working on, and connect it to what we think is the most important topic: healthy soil. I'm John Valentino, president of John and Bob's Corporation. I'm a landscape architect and a landscape contractor and a general engineering contractor. And I'm with my assistant, Chip Valentino. We're here at a project that we're just finishing. It took quite a while to finish it. Chip is relieved it was done. The owner, which is a major hospital in our area, was in a hurry to get it done quickly, so we had to put a lot of resources into it to do it in just a few months. And it's about done. We're in the maintenance period, and we'll be showing you how this garden applies to your own garden. Many have their own idea of how to minimize maintenance. Some of my own customers have disagreed with each other and disagreed with me. In general, if you read about landscaping, you'll see that a way to minimize maintenance is to minimize lawn. Although I have people tell me that if their whole yard was just lawn, that they just had to mow once or every other week, that would be low maintenance, and that's a lot lower maintenance than having a lot of different plants. If you want your lawn to look like the video that we did on weed lawn care, do not use weed and feed, where you got this beautiful, perfect lawn, no weeds, manicured, that's high maintenance, because lawn takes more water, more care than anything else, really. And so I think to have a really beautiful lawn is not low maintenance. If you pick whatever lawn does great in your area, like in our area, Bermuda does great, and you could probably have a Bermuda lawn and only water it once a week and not water it that well, and it'd be mostly green. So if you're okay with a Bermuda lawn that looks like this, isn't terrible but isn't great, that probably is low maintenance. And wherever your locality is, you probably have a lawn that does pretty well without a lot of care, like we have Bermuda in our area. But in general, if you're doing any gardening at all, lawn is high maintenance. So one of the main concepts would be to limit the lawn. Now here at this hospital, they eliminated all the lawn. It was a cool season grass, which is high maintenance in our area and also takes a lot of water. The whole idea of this garden was to cut down on water use, which also ties in nicely with low maintenance. So in this garden, all lawn was eliminated except for a big oval of artificial turf. As I mentioned before, I'm not a huge fan of artificial turf, especially in our area. We have a hot area. Hot temperatures lead to ozone problems and all kinds of air quality problems. I think we should be figuring out ways of cooling our area, not making it hotter by covering our ground with things that are hot like artificial turf. But artificial turf is popular because it's low maintenance. And in this hospital setting, there's just one area, really lends a bold green look to it. So it's effective in some spots. And if you just use it minimally, I think it's fine here and there. So the idea is limit lawn. That's the first precept of a low maintenance yard. So the need for water does make for higher maintenance. It creates maintenance problems, drainage problems, weed problems. And so the way to limit maintenance is to just apply water minimally and only where it's needed. If you look at this garden, it's made up of massings of low maintenance, low water use plants. And if you deliver water just to where those plants are with drip irrigation, so allow it to just soak in slowly and don't put water all in between the plants, then you're not going to have weed pressures in between the plants, you're not going to have a lot of standing water, you're not going to have drainage issues. This is a key if you're trying to really minimize maintenance, minimize the need for water by delivering water very carefully, slowly, with drip irrigation, only where it's needed. If you do have a lawn, make sure it's a very well-designed system that delivers even application of water. But wisely applying water is a big part of minimizing maintenance. And in a landscape with not much lawn, with individual plants, gives you an opportunity for only delivering water at the base of each plant. That's going to be really effective at minimizing maintenance. In your home garden, you're not going to have a lawn, and you want to minimize maintenance, but you still want your landscaping to be important. There's a whole range of options you can look at to make it a useful garden that you don't have to be out working in constantly. And we call that here maximizing options. So in this, right now we're here today at this hospital putting in benches along this walk, which might cause you to think that having an interactive garden is a possibility. That's the whole idea of this garden, where we have a walk that goes through the garden, so it encourages you to walk through the garden. That works very well on a home garden. And then has places to sit, so similar to what we've talked about before, where Thomas Church in his book Gardens Are for People talked about putting a garden terrace where you will use it. In this case, we have benches located throughout the walks. That can relate to a courtyard in your home garden. So benches, seating areas, courtyard areas for tables, places to walk and sit. So you begin to try to get the garden to work like the house, where you've got spaces in it that you're using, not just something to walk through to get to the front door, or in the case of the backyard, to just look out of the house. So this expansion of the house into the garden. So in this case, this is the bench we're using alongside the walk. We're right now putting in 10 of them this morning. We're just putting in the concrete pads for them. And then you see lots of other applications here. For instance, this decomposed granite is another option that you can use to take up space, and it's a nice contrasting texture. Works well in parking strips. In this case, you'll see it next to this bold texture of these big cobbles. So the cobbles are attractive. Obviously, they're low maintenance, and they give a nice look to a garden where you're trying to take up space with things that don't use water and yet still look nice. This decomposed granite is a colored one, and colored ones are available. This one's called California Gold. And in our other videos, you notice we had one where we did the front yard makeover, where we used decomposed granite and then we put pea gravel on top of it, so that adds another texture, makes the decomposed granite so it won't track. It's an attractive way to use a combination of decomposed granite and pea gravel. You can look back at the front yard makeover and see how that's very effective. We used a vibratory compactor to put the pea gravel into the decomposed granite. So you begin to see lots of options where you have pathways that would have one type of surface, and then you have ornamental coverings of decomposed granite or cobble, and you've got benches for use, and all of these can be incorporated in a home garden or a commercial garden like this that's attempting to get people to use it by walking through it. And we have a pedestrian person coming towards us right now, showing that it's working. People are using the garden and enjoying the garden and being shaded by the trees and having a place to sit on the benches. So sustainability means a garden that takes care of itself as much as possible, and that really starts with the soil. The soil is the most important part of sustainability. If you have healthy soil that allows your plants to thrive, and in a garden like this, it's important that these plants thrive because you don't have these big swaths of green. You know, lawn allows landscape designers to cheat. You don't have to be real skillful to have this beautiful garden when you have these big areas of bold, beautiful green. But if you're relying on plants, like in this garden, then they need to thrive, they need to do well, and healthy soil is a key to that. And when we refer to sustainability, we want soil that is so healthy that plants don't get sick, you don't have to be spraying things, they take care of themselves. And that's the whole idea of infusing soil with beneficial life and food for life and attractants for life, because we want that soil full of beneficial bacteria, fungi, good protozoa, good nematodes, earthworms, everything. If you have that kind of soil, then you can have a self-sustaining garden that doesn't require your inputs. It can actually, in many ways, if you're building it properly, it can create its own nitrogen and essentially feed itself. So the key to that is inputs that we encourage with our own products or good quality compost, but our blend and our maximize, our nourish-biosol, our penetrate liquid biotiller. Those are all things that build life in the soil, and that's what's needed to have a sustainable garden. In this case, we used a lot of our products because we did a soil test here, which we showed in a prior video, and it was lacking in organic matter, lacking in a lot of nutrients. So the first step then, as we're doing the installation, is let's infuse it with all kinds of beneficial life and food for life, and make a soil that can sustain these plants without us having to do a lot of inputs. So that's the whole idea of our product line. You can see all the products on our website and how they all work, and our website is johnandbobs.com. Check out everything there. We have a new wrinkle for you this week. If you can identify this plant, we'll send you a free bag of 3-pound Optimize. Optimize is concentrated organic matter, tremendously beneficial to feed life in your soil. What we're going to do is we're going to send that bag to the first 5 people that identify the plant correctly. Not only, you can use the common name or the botanical name, but somewhere in there you not only need to tell us the name of the plant if you use a common name, but we need the cultivar too, because that's really what makes it a little more challenging. Cultivar means variety. So this plant that we're going to show you to identify should be identifiable with either the genus and the species and the cultivar, or just the common name and the variety is fine. It's interesting to watch the progression of this landscape as we built it. Go back and watch our commercial landscape design, A Healing Landscape, which was a follow-up to the original commercial landscape design video. And there you'll see it kind of midway through, and now today you can see it as we've completed it.